What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Ruth and Eric channel. I am Ruth. If you are wondering who I am, I have started a company in 2018 with my brother Eric, and we create micro SaaS businesses. So we have a few Shopify apps. Our largest one is Reconvert with over 37,000 stores using it and an over $2 million ARR. And now that I tried to kind of convince you why you should listen to me, let's talk about the subject of this video. So today I want to talk about what I would do if I was starting over in 2023. So it is right now November, and really soon the year ends and the new year starts, and a lot of people kind of want to take this opportunity to reinvent themselves in different areas of life, and career is always one of them. If I was starting out right now in 2023 building a new SaaS business, what I think would actually work, what would I do differently? Let's talk about this. So first thing first, I would go for a micro SaaS. I would 100% build a micro SaaS no matter when I do this. And the reason is because A, the SaaS business model is just the best business model. I am sorry if you're in any other type of business, but it usually has the best profit margins and the easiest customer acquisition. Churn can also be easy depending on your SaaS, so I get that, but it is the easiest business model. The one caveat is that if you're not a developer, it's kind of tough, and that development can take a lot of time, which is one of the reasons that micro SaaS is so great. Building a micro SaaS allows you to both kind of reduce costs when you are developing, because it is usually a smaller product, or at least you can get away with a smaller product in the beginning, and it also allows you to make customer acquisition easier and cheaper because you are building on a very specific niche. So there's a lot of advantages. It also has its disadvantages. We have a video talking about it somewhere in the channel. We'll link it up here. But if I was starting out, I would definitely go into the micro SaaS route. How do you decide where to build your micro SaaS? By the way, I don't think I said that, but micro SaaS is basically when you take a SaaS product, software as a service, and instead of building something that stands alone on its own, you build it on top of an existing SaaS for an existing niche. It is smaller, like a complementary product, but so much easier to get done. Hope this is clear. So let's say you want to build a micro SaaS. What niche do you build it on? That's a really good question. And I can tell you, okay, for sure build it for Shopify, or for sure build it for Wix or Figma or whatever. I really can't tell you that because the decision is kind of complex and depends on a few different factors. So what niche are you familiar with? What is your personal niche? Where do you work or hang out or spend your time? What kind of audience are you familiar with? If your answer is none, first of all, that's not true. I'm sure you have a niche that you're familiar with that you're just not thinking of as a business opportunity. But let's say it is true, that's fine. You can still learn a new niche. It would just mean that maybe you have some extra steps and it's going to take a little longer and you need to talk to our customers, etc., etc. What niche are you familiar in? Second, in the niche that you are familiar in, what are the biggest players? For example, let's go for e-commerce again, because this is what I'm familiar with. In e-commerce, we have Shopify, we have Wix, we have WooCommerce, Magento. I think Webflow also have some e-commerce capabilities. So there are a lot of players, but Shopify is, I'm not sure if it's the largest one, but it's one of the largest ones for sure. So Shopify has over 1 million stores. That's an easy bet. But other than the size, what about competition? So when we launched on Shopify in 2018, there were already a lot of apps on the App Store, but it has grown exponentially in the past few years. So the competition is much larger right now. This is something to take into account. But not only the competition, but also the competition for your specific idea, which we'll get to soon. Just take into account how many plugins are already existing for your niche. Lastly, customer profile is really important because the customer profiles on Shopify are different than the customer profiles on WooCommerce. A lot of the stores on WooCommerce don't really like to pay for plugins, while on Shopify it's kind of like a lot of people pay for plugins. So you also want to think about the, let's call it, purchasing habits of your potential customers. These are all things to consider, and then you can choose your niche and your platform that you want to build your micro SaaS on. The next step would be to create a list of ideas, at least 4 or 5 ideas in the niche that I want to build for. I think it's also okay to say, okay, I want to build something for Shopify, but I also wouldn't mind building something for Figma. So you write down all of your ideas for both niches. Then once you have these ideas, you kind of want to start ranking them. And we have a full video talking about our ranking system. Again, we'll link it up here so you can check it out if you want after this video. But I would rank them according to where I think the potential would be as far as pricing potential, how complex it is to develop, audience size potential. Is the whole million plus stores on Shopify going to be interested in this, or is this only going to fit like half of them? Competition, of course, super important. If there isn't competition, it's not necessarily a good sign. It might be because there is no demand for this. So really do a good hard look at your idea. Is this something that has demand? If you're not sure, next step we'll talk about it. But is there demand for this? If there is competition, what can I do better? Am I going to build something that is exactly like the competition? Because if the answer is yes, then I shouldn't build it. So we have a few final ideas, let's say 4 or 5 final ideas. The next step is to validate them. This is a step that we didn't do when we originally created Reconvert, but if I were to build something new right now, I would 100% do this, because after Reconvert, we built a few other apps and we didn't validate any of them. We just went on top of, we know the niche, we know the platform, we know what people want, so we built it. And in some cases, it was a success, but in some cases, it was a complete failure and a waste of our time, money, resources, etc. Validate your ideas. It is a super important step and it doesn't have to take long. So one way to validate would be to build a really lean MVP, launch it and see the reaction. You can do that. You can maybe even use no code depending on your platform. I've been playing around with Bubble a lot recently. You can do a lot of great things. I don't know if you can necessarily build a micro SaaS with Bubble, but maybe you can do some basic stuff that could be used as the initial MVP to validate your idea. You could also validate before even developing your MVP, which again, I'm pretty sure if I was now starting out from scratch, that's what I would do. Do a landing page with a really attractive video explaining your offer, what you're going to do with a pre-sign up mailing list. Then you can distribute this landing page with ads, product hunt, forums, groups, etc. Distribute this and set a goal. Let's say within a week, I want at least 100 signups. If I'm getting any less than that in this week, not a good idea. So do this for each of your ideas and then decide the one that you believe in the most according to the validation and your ranking of how difficult it would be to create. Next step is to create a really lean MVP and launch it. And if you decided to skip on the validation part and your validation is the MVP, then you're already there. But the focus here for me would be the core features to actually solve the problem that I'm trying to solve. Not like going all around and, ooh, this is a cool feature and people would want that. I'm sure they are all really useful features, but what would actually solve the problem I'm trying to solve? What is the problem? Like, really important to know that. I don't think we knew that necessarily when we first built Reconvert, and we were really lucky that our intuition was just working. And next is marketing. As far as marketing, I honestly am not really strong with PPC and paid marketing. We are now working with people to get this done for us, but both me and Eric didn't have a whole lot of experience with it, and we didn't do a lot of PPC when we first started. Instead, what we did was SEO, which is a long-term tactic, but if you start writing blog posts and getting backlinks, you will slowly start ranking up. But if I was starting out, I would do some things that we didn't do in the beginning. Launch on AppSumo / Product Hunt and all of these kind of marketplaces with yearly deals or monthly deals, etc. I think this can get a lot of traction in the beginning. And if you're signing people up for yearly deals or even lifetime deals, then you can get a lot of initial money to fund activities in the business that maybe you don't have the money for when you're first starting out. Integrations and partnerships, super important. Any kind of partnership you can create with a different complementary service, a different complementary product, and kind of tap into each other's customers, chef's kiss, do this. Lastly is marketplace optimization. Just like SEO, you want to make sure you optimize your listing on your micro SaaS marketplace to actually rank higher and find new customers. This is and has always been our top source of installs on the Shopify App Store. And the reason is because we did a lot of really good optimization from day one. You do need to remember that it is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's not like you'll do some optimization and get 100 installs a day. It takes time and it builds up slowly. It's kind of like SEO, but faster because it's smaller than Google. Like the Shopify App Store is smaller than Google, which is everything in the internet. Hope that's clear why. Lastly is get to product market fit. Product market fit is this point where you're like, okay, I am solving the problem, I'm solving it well, I have the needed features, customers are loving this, they are recommending this to their friends, they are okay with the price. It's all of these little things that suddenly make product-led growth feel like it's flowing. Like you don't have to work so hard, it's happening because my product is at market fit and because I'm using my product to grow the product and to grow the company. So that means that the goal is always to get to product market fit, and once you are there, it's to always innovate and be on top of the game and on top of the competition. And the way to do that is to continuously develop, to continuously talk to your customers. When we started out, we would do support, so we would talk to them daily. Now we don't anymore, but we talk to them through our support reps. Our product managers sometimes talk with some of the bigger customers. Our partnerships managers talk to the agencies that work with these customers. Always stay in touch and kind of know what they are looking for. So I know I'm not talking here about if I was starting out tomorrow, I would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would build this kind of NFT and this kind of cryptocurrency, etc., etc. But I really don't think that anyone saying, hey, you should develop this specific thing is something for you to listen to. You need to figure out on your own what product you as a founder would have a benefit in developing. Like you as a founder, do you have any kind of added value to your product? You should know what you're building. You should know like what you're talking about, what field you're in. And the way to do that is to do your own research, which is why I gave you more of a framework of what I would do if I was starting out now, rather than telling you exactly what to do. If you want a short brief about some niches that I would personally look into if I was starting out now. Again, e-commerce, it's only growing. The competition is stronger, but you can still find really good opportunities. It doesn't have to be Shopify. There are other players in the game, but I would definitely do Shopify as one of my integrations because it is the best player, the most powerful one in the game right now. NFT and cryptocurrency, while I do think there is a bubble there of prices that don't really make sense, I also think that this is the future of the internet. And if you invest in there, you might not make money now, but eventually it will be very powerful if you can find solutions to help people adopt this technology faster. We've been investing in crypto and the process is not simple. Like we lost a few domains because of a stupid human mistake and there is no way to get them back. If you can build any kind of framework on top of these that makes even the smallest process a little easier for the end customer, amazing. This is a solution that people would pay for, companies would pay for to make their products more adaptable. So there's a lot of opportunities there in the NFT and crypto space. VR, virtual reality and AR, another space I would really focus on. I am not as familiar with it as I would like to be, other than like playing some games on my Oculus at home sometimes, but a lot of opportunities there. I still think that this entire space is very new and we still don't know exactly what technology would win the game. So there is a high risk for both crypto and VR and AR, but both really, really powerful newer niches that people can get into. I would personally also go to Figma. I think if I were looking for something really simple, Figma has a lot of opportunities, a lot of users, and not a lot of plugins. I'm not a designer, so I would kind of need to do more thinking and talking to people to figure out what I would build there, but I think this is a really great platform. And lastly, I would look at CRMs like Crisp, HubSpot. What else? There's so many players. Why am I blanking out now? But there's a lot of players in the game that you can build plugins for. We are doing it. We have used that for one of our apps and actually got a lot of tractions from there. The problem with this app is that it's not at product market fit and it's probably not going to get to product market fit anytime soon. So forget about that. If you build something good and connected to these different CRMs, you can really be successful. If you want to know more about some of the niches that Eric would recommend, I would go check out this video. And this is what YouTube thinks you should watch. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.